welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we're watching episode 38 and 39 of Bleach. So, we have a couple of fights going on. That seems to be what we're focusing on for this little bit. One, we have Ichigo versus Zedeki, which is not going particularly well. Ichigo got, mind illusion stabbed, which freaked me out, but then he was okay because it was just Zedeki's intent to kill him or something, which is also awful to have such a resolve to kill someone that they actually hallucinate being stabbed. I mean, that's new. Zedeki also has a lot of soul pressure to the point of it feeling like a physical weight on Ichigo, which is saying something because Ichigo, we know, has got some power. He fought Renji and won, so that's worrisome. And more than that, we had Ichigo trying to attack Zedeki, but was incapable of leaving any kind of mark on him. We had it, they said that his name, Kenpachi, was a name that was passed down, and it basically means to be immortal, or it's for people who like to fight and stuff. So he's basically immortal, and Ichigo was having a rough time with that, because how do you fight someone you can't leave a scratch on? I don't know, but it's not looking good. We have Ganju and Hanataro are on their way to the tower where Rukia is being kept. So they're on a mission to get Rukia. As Ganju pointed out, he said that, Ichigo says that that's the priority, so we're gonna do that, and then we can come back and we can try to help him. But we need to get Rukia first. So we've had kind of a split up of the teams. Then we have our other battle, which is Shadow versus one of the captains, whose name I haven't memorized yet because we've only just met him. But the captain just wanted to have a drink, just wanted to not have to get into a fight, wanted it to be a peaceful parting of ways. But Shadow was like, I don't want to fight you either, but I have to get to my friends. I have to get to Ichigo to help him. I have to help Rukia. I gotta be on the other side of you. So they ended up having to fight, and Shadow is using this cool, concentration of energy, behind his punches, causing a lot of property damage. But he hasn't been able to actually, hit the captain. So he tried to get in closer, and we left off with seeing a sword being slashed in his general direction. And it hasn't been doing great since. I need to not go through that stress. We also, a little side thing with the plot line of what's going on with the captains and Aizen's death and all that kind of stuff. We had Hinamori, who is Aizen's lieutenant, who's locked up, but she was given a note that was left by Aizen where he basically says this is what I've figured out, this is what I knew at this point, so that someone else can carry on what I was figuring out if I end up being gone. So she knows what Aizen knew. I don't know what Aizen knew. I would love to be informed, but she's locked up right now, so just because she has that information doesn't mean that she can do anything with it right now. So there's lots of stuff going on. I think we're going to focus on the fights, like I said, for a little while, and less about less to do with all of the background stuff about manipulation and people having plans and stuff like that. I feel like we're kind of focusing on the main action right now. I think we're definitely gonna go back to Ichigo and Zedeki's fight because we left it for the last episode, and hopefully I get to find out something that happens to Shadow. We've got 2 whole episodes, and I'm still being stressed. I am watching 2 episodes per reaction, and I am still ending in stressful frame of mind. But two whole episodes, I've got to get some kind of answers for Shadow, right? Right? Anyway, let's just rip off the band-aid. Let's watch the episode. Let's see what happens because honestly, I can't. I don't want to wait anymore. So let's do it. In 3, 2, 1, go. I feel like I'm talking really fast today. Energy levels are high. I'm in like fight or flight mode. Just dancing through the stress. Don't mind me. I did notice one thing, and I don't know if this is like me reading too much into it or if it's something that was deliberately done by like designing the show. But I realized it while I'm like looking for things to do thumbnails, and I found that Ichigo tends to have like warm tone colors, like warm lighting, and Rukia tends to have colder lighting. And I don't know if that's like specifically a personality thing or if it's like the contrast between like Ichigo, you know, moving forward and fighting and stuff, and like Rukia being sad and disheartened because she's like trapped in one spot. But it's a cool little design feature. Okay, boy. Whew. Okay, wait. I'm not even ready. Because they're gonna show it to me again. Okay, I feel somewhat attacked that he's like, that's too shallow of a time to have a meaningful relationship. And I'm like, yeah, I was crying about these characters in like episode 3. So I literally was like, I love Shadow in like the first episode that he had. So don't call it shallow. The heart wants what the heart wants. I'm not ready. I'm not ready, but I have to know what happens. I know it's coming, and I'm like, It makes it worse because I know that they don't actually want to fight each other. Like, they're not. It's not like one of them is bad and I can hate them. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the hell butterflies. Dun dun dun. So Yamamoto is the like top guy. For what I read in the comments. And from what I've gauged from the show. Oh, he's just running. That's so, like, it's so unlike Ichigo. to run in the face of a fight, that it really puts in perspective like how intimidating Zedeki is. Because Ichigo's not a runner when it comes to like facing someone, even if they seem stronger than him. So like, man. Like, it's so uncharacteristic to see Ichigo panic that it's it's almost heartbreaking. Okay, but if he can't be scratched because he's basically immortal, how did he get the scar on his face? How did he? What's the eye patch about? Is it because he's lost his eye? How did that happen? If like it's so hard to scratch him, that's a backstory I would like to learn about. It's probably there somewhere. I'm only like less than 40 episodes in, so just hanging out. His sword looks really beat up, which is interesting. Like he's so in like unaffected by attacks, but his sword seems to be very affected by it. So what's up with that? If you can like man like cuz like your weapon is as strong as like the energy you put into it, right? So why does his weapon look so damaged? Mm-hmm. That's right, you gotta have some kind of you gotta have resolve. If you don't think you can hurt him, then you won't. Don't say things like that. Freaks me out. Wow. That's like a thorough killing of him. Come on, boy. He's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I agree. Things have escalated a lot. That's the Ichigo I know. Hey! You scratched him! Which I mean is a big accomplishment in this time. Gotta have the resolve. You gotta believe you can. Mm. A Gigai? Do I know about that? I don't think so. Hello, lieutenants? That's what I'm saying, though. It feels like someone is using the intruders as a distraction so that they can do other stuff. Don't like that noise. He's picking up on things. Ah, so is the eye patch just to like restrict his vision? So he has a blind spot? Why is his different then? I don't like the scraping noise. Ugh. Ugh! Why? Oh, not again. should really roll over on your back. If you weren't cut all the way through, it'll at least stop you from bleeding out quite as much. I'm just saying. Oh, hello. You are the spirit in his sword, yes? What are we doing? Hello? Ugh. I feel like I'm starting to like go numb to the stress. My brain's like unable to fully wow, that's a cool weapon. Sorry, I got distracted. Uh, right, he was the guy that we've seen in some flashbacks with Rukia. What happened there? It's like he has two lieutenants. So we have, we know that Shadow is not dead, just injured, having a rough time. But, they decided not to kill him. They're taking him in to just, like, capture him, keep him, interrogate him. So, glad I got that off my chest. I'm worried that he's, like, been captured, and that'll probably cause some issues. But it is better than dead. And at this point, that is the bar I'm at. That's like how I'm measuring good outcomes of things. Anything other than death, probably better. And then we had Ichigo, who was just seeing him like panic is something that I haven't truly seen. Like I've seen like him briefly panic if like his family or his friends are attacked, but usually it's like it's brief and then he's like ready to go into action. Like he runs head on into whatever it is. Whereas this was far more, this was like real panic and he was like running away and he like didn't think he was going to win and he thought for sure that he was gonna lose and die, and like that kind of mindset, I don't think I've ever seen Ichigo that desperate. That is scary within itself. And then we had him, you know, kind of finally, you know, setting his resolve and being like, no, I have to win. Like, I have to do it. And being able to cut Zedeki, but he's still stronger. He still managed to do it. And I find that interesting with like him talking about how his sword is like always at full strength and like he has to like hold back with the way that he uses it, because like I was pointing out, his sword looks damaged. So it's weird that like his sword would look that way and yet it's always at full strength. Like I'm wondering like what's unique about his weapon specifically. And he's like, mine doesn't have a name. Like why is his different than what everyone else we've seen up to this point is, and like what does that mean in terms of like how it functions. So then we had him like stabbing through Ichigo's sword and breaking it, which has happened before. Not good. We had to go through a bunch of like training and internal struggles for him to fix the last one. And also, he's been stabbed again. I just want an episode where someone doesn't get stabbed and almost dies. That's all I want. Small thing to ask for, I think. We went for lots of episodes where nobody got stabbed and almost died. He is not doing well. Ichigo's struggling. Bleeding out. Broken sword. Never good. And the spirit of his sword has made a reappearance. I'm pretty sure it's the spirit of his sword. We've only seen it like the one time. Probably because he's broken his sword again. And it almost looks like time has like stopped for like this time where like Ichigo's like slipped into, you know, speaking to this soul. I don't really know what's gonna happen there because I don't know yet like what power set those souls have other than like through the weapon and like the way that soul reapers are like able to channel some of their own soul energy through it, and the limitation of like attacks and stuff, like how much they can channel their soul energy through their weapon, like we learned with Renji's, like when it's able to like turn into like shift its form. We haven't seen Ichigo do that. And Zedeki says that his weapon is always in that form. So does that mean it doesn't have a limit, or it has a really high limit? Or what? Because it doesn't switch back. Because that was the whole thing with Renji's, was it switched form, he could use it 3 times, and then it switched back as like a reset, and then he could transform it again and attack. So Zedeki seems like a weird exception. And I would like to learn more about it. I would like to not learn more about his weapon while he is stabbing characters I care about, though. And we have news spreading around about Aizen's death and also confirming how exactly he died. Like, that was like a full-on, like, he's been severed from like a bunch of different stuff and his heart was like destroyed, and like, man, his death is like such, it feels like such a statement. It feels like someone really posing a threat to the Soul Society and like the captains and stuff. I just don't know who it is. So luckily, we are gonna watch the next episode. So let's just move into episode 39. Take some deep breaths. See what happens. In 3, 2, 1, go. Ichigo. Honey. It's been a rough time for you, hasn't it? What is Ishita and Orihime doing? How are they? Are they fighting somebody? Are they just hanging out, hiding somewhere? It's been so long since we saw them. I'm just so worried about Ichigo. Which I feel like is how I begin every episode now. Okay. They always gotta show me again. Mm-hmm. Hello, spirit dude. With the flowing hair. What are we gonna do now? Because he broke your sword again. Take him where? Yes, this I remember. It's a fair point. It's all a bit topsy-turvy, isn't it? Who is you? Ghost person? That's what I said. Ooh. What is that? So it's like a copy of Ichigo? He's gotta fight? It's like inverted. Oi. Is that what his soul energy looks like from the outside? You're doubting yourself again. I didn't know that was a trick. Some long range. attacks. That's cool. It's true. Just because you know its name doesn't mean that the sword has been mastered, right? Creepy Ghost Ichigo's got a point. Hey! He didn't have to force it back. He didn't have to steal it. He just had to ask. He's still, like, bleeding out, though. Which is a concern of mine. But what are you? It's like it's part of him. What about the power eventually being yours? Excuse me? Creepy Ichigo? Why is his inner world all topsy-turvy, though? Is that just the nature of it? Or is it like specifically has something to do with Ichigo like being unstable in some way? He is really fast at healing, isn't he? So he's probably not great, but ooh. Ugh. Shoulders really get beat up in this show. Everyone goes for the shoulders. Oh dear. Ooh. He's got some crazy eyes going on. Probably not. That seems a little crazy. The hair from the explosion. Oh no. Oh, Ikagu. It's good to see that he's recovering well. He's better. Is Ichigo better than him? Slightly? Uh-oh. That's, alarming. Ooh. She's a little terrifying too, isn't she? Ugh. Oh, so we've escalated to that, huh? Really? Teamwork. Oy. Hopefully able to control it a little better with some help. That's why yours is falling apart. Ugh. They both have weird faces manifesting. Oh dear. I hope those structures weren't important. Where's his sword, though? Ichigo! Ugh! Why? Oh, hey, it's a different ending. I'm not a happy people. I am a stressed people. Don't try to calm me with your upbeat, light-hearted music. This does not fit my current mood. I'm like, no, I'm upset and I'm worried. Oh my god. Ooh, are they actually gonna get to Arukia? Ooh, she does not look happy in that last clip. Okay, so we spent a bunch of time learning about how Zenpakutos worked, which I appreciate because we haven't really gotten into like the actual details of how the Zenpakuto work because like Ichigo pointed out, he's just kind of been using it as a tool. Like I, I I mean, I know they're not just swords, but like the way that they have been functioning within the show so far is like they're basically just swords and they've got like some power in them, but like they are more complicated than that like within the lore of the show. So the fact that like we actually got to come back to that and be like, hey, remember that there's like an actual soul within Ichigo's sword and within like all of them, that's important. And like we got to go back to Ichigo's inner world, which I think there's probably more to that. Like, one, why is it like this weird topsy-turvy city without any like, I don't know, specific direction? Like that might be a little bit just because it's like internal and like perspective is what you make of it. But also like it might be because Ichigo hasn't really figured things out and like lined them up the right way, which is entirely possible because like he's a teenager, he's younger than me, and I haven't figured myself out fully, so it's totally plausible that like he just hasn't figured some stuff out. But also we got like that weird ghost inverted version of Ichigo, which, I mean, one, creepy, but also like kind of a cool character design. Uh, and two, I think said something about like because like it had its own personality. So even when Ichigo was gone, like there was still this like conversation happening, independent. So it wasn't like a direct shadow of Ichigo. It was some other facet, and it just kept calling him like a partner, which makes me think that like it's something else. Whether or not it's like living in like his Zanpakuto or if it's like living in him. Because I think it said something about like one day all of Ichigo's power will be his, like will be this like weird other consciousness thing, which just makes me think of like all of the stuff with him turning into a hollow and the mask reappearing. Like it makes me feel like there's like something else inside of Ichigo that we haven't learned about, I haven't learned about yet, that's like gonna affect him like inside out, which is terrifying. We got to learn with that, and like also like the acknowledgement that Ichigo just learned the name of his sword. Like he learned the name, it took on a new form, they bonded slightly through that, but like just knowing someone's name doesn't make them your friend. You know, like you have to actually spend time with someone if you want to understand them, and then you have to like further understand them and find ways of communicating with each other and compromising with each other to actually become friends. So the fact that Ichigo has like acknowledged that and acknowledged that there's like an actual complex being that he is fighting alongside. It's not just a tool that he's using, that he's funneling his own energy and strength through. It has its own energy and its own personality, and he needs to learn that. And he's like opened up the opportunity for that. He's like opened up the idea of it being a partnership, but it makes me excited to see what will happen as he learns more about it. Like as he learns more techniques, like that cool thing that the Ghost Ichigo was doing that had like the twirling the sword around and using it for like long distance attacks. That's really cool because Ichigo doesn't really have a long distance attack. He relies a lot on close combat. So diversifying like how he can fight people will be a really cool way of like integrating different strategies and dealing with different kinds of opponents. So he's unlocked a lot of that power. Zedeki has also unlocked a bunch of power. The creepy eye patch that had teeth is gone, which reminds me a lot of when Ichigo was turning into a hollow. There was like the chain was being like eaten. It reminded me of that. So like it's this weird creature that was like sapping his spiritual energy. So now he's kind of full power mode. And so we saw Ichigo stab. He got some good shots on Zedeki, but also like has been stabbed again in the chest, which is not great. He does heal a lot better than other people, but being stabbed in the chest is never a good thing. It's never something that one wants to accomplish in a day. So he's having a bit of a rough time there, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. I'm assuming the next episode will conclude that in some way. We didn't get to learn any more about what was going on with the captains and all of that stuff. We didn't see where Shadow ended up, if he's been like put in Squad 5's like cell thing, which will be interesting because that is where Hinamori is. So that might be an interesting fated meeting to see, like, because she has all the knowledge of what Aizen knew before he died, and then if Shadow and her like within the same space, maybe some information will be shared. I don't know, but it looks like Ganju and Hanataro will be getting to Rukia in the tower, which is good. Getting out of the tower and back out of the Soul Society is something that I can't even fully fathom. Because there's been so much. It's been so much just to get in, and we gotta get out. With Rukia. I mean, Rukia has her own power and ability. But still. And I think next video, when we do episode 40 and 41, I think those are like the end of this arc. And then the next arc happens. I mean, I think it's all in the Soul Society, but it's like, I think the next two episodes are like officially the end of this arc, and then we're gonna start the next one. What's gonna happen? Now I'm nervous. I hope you enjoyed watching these two episodes along with me. If you did, and you're not already, consider subscribing to the channel, so you know when I post new Bleach reactions and when I get into other shows eventually. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!